The wind rushed across the deck of the Solstice, carrying the tang of salt and the muted cries of distant gulls. Captain Mira Serrano leaned against the railing, her eyes scanning the rolling horizon. To most, the ocean was infinite blue monotony, but to her it was alive, shifting, whispering, keeping its secrets tucked into trenches no human had yet seen. She had been working rescue missions for oceanic wildlife for over a decade, diving into impossible situations to save creatures people thought were beyond saving. But nothing had prepared her for what the distress call that morning would describe. The message came from a research vessel stationed 200 nautical miles off the coast of Chile. Large marine mammal sighted, the scientist had said, his voice shaking with awe and fear. Possibly Baleinoptera candidus, a white whale. Size, extreme. Condition, compromised. Covered in barnacles, entire body infested. Whale appears distressed, breathing erratic. Repeated attempts to identify individual markings, inconclusive due to incrustation. Assistance required immediately. A white whale. Not albino, not just pale, the mythical kind that sailors had written into folklore centuries ago. Myra's heart had thudded hard in her chest when she first heard it. In all her years, she had never seen one with her own eyes. Scientists debated their existence like they were phantoms. And now, one was struggling for life in the open ocean. The Solstice adjusted its course, slicing through waves with urgency. Mira gathered her crew on deck. 20 pairs of eyes turned to her, divers, medics, engineers, biologists. Each one carried both grit and reverence for the creatures of the sea. "Listen up," Mira began, her voice firm but charged with the weight of what they were about to attempt. "We've got a whale out there, a giant white, heavily infested with barnacles. From the description, this is not just another case. This is history. But more importantly, it's a life. A suffering, intelligent life. Our mission is to assess, stabilize, and rescue. This will not be easy. We're dealing with a creature bigger than anything we've handled, with thousands, possibly millions, of barnacles embedded deep in its skin. If we don't act, the whale could suffocate or starve." A hush fell. No one spoke, but every eye gleamed with the unspoken, "We're in." Hours later, as the sun began to set, they saw it. At first it looked like an island, something pale breaking the surface. Then the whale exhaled, and a column of mist erupted into the air, backlit by the orange twilight. Gasps rippled across the deck. Myra's chest tightened. The whale was massive, easily 70 feet long, its body ghostly white beneath the waves. But what struck her most was the grotesque armor covering it, barnacles clumped thick as coral reefs, obscuring its natural skin. Some patches had grown so heavy they cracked and tore at the whale's flesh. Others hung like tumors from its fins. The creature's movement was sluggish, labored. Each breath sounded like a struggle through waterlogged lungs. "It's suffocating," murmured Drive. Anya Kepler, the onboard biologist. "The barnacles are interfering with skin respiration. And look, its pectoral fins are barely functional. If it can't maneuver, it can't hunt." The whale turned slightly, and for a brief second, Mira swore its eye locked onto hers. Dark, intelligent, and desperate. Her throat tightened. This wasn't just a rescue. It was a plea. The crew prepared. Drones flew out to map the whale's body, projecting a holographic model in the command room. The whale's surface was alive with parasitic colonies, squirming and clicking like a grotesque city of invaders. Each barnacle had rooted itself deep, feeding off the whale's constant movement through plankton-rich waters. Removing them would mean hours of precision, teamwork, and courage. "We'll need to approach in shifts," Mira said, studying the model. "Hydraulic cutters for the large clusters, scrapers for the embedded ones. We must avoid damaging the whale's skin. Any injury could cause infection. Divers will need sedation protocols ready in case the whale thrashes. But," she paused, "we can't fully sedate it. If it sinks, we lose it." The crew nodded grimly. They had pulled sea turtles from ghost nets, freed dolphins from plastic bans, but this was operating on the edge of myth and science. The first team went in under floodlights that painted the dark sea white. Mira was among them, her wetsuit slick, her rebreather hissing softly. Sliding into the water, she felt the whale's presence before she touched it, like diving alongside a living continent. The sheer immensity of its body stretched into shadow. Up close, the barnacles were worse. They covered the whale in jagged forests, some clusters the size of car tires. Mira set her gloved hand against the rough surface of one colony. Beneath it, she could feel the faint tremor of the whale's muscle. Alive, waiting, with cutters in hand, she began. The tool whined, slicing through the barnacle mass. Chunks broke away, tumbling into the depths like pieces of ancient stone. The whale shuddered, a deep vibration reverberating through the water, almost like a groan. Mira whispered through her mask, though no one could hear, "We're here. We're helping." Hours blurred. Teams rotated, scraping, cutting, soothing with long strokes of their hands against the whale's flank to keep it calm. The whale seemed to understand, hovering just beneath the surface, exhaling in heavy bursts. At times it would tilt slightly, as if offering a side, a fin, or a swath of its back, almost cooperating with its rescuers. But the deeper they went, the more horrors they found. Some barnacles had bored into old scars, creating pits that oozed infection. Others had woven into sensitive skin near the blowhole. Removing them risked harm, but leaving them meant certain death. On the third night, as Mira worked near the whale's massive eye, she felt it again, the gaze. She floated inches away, her face reflected in that dark, liquid sphere. The whale blinked slowly, and for a moment Mira swore she felt an exchange. Not language, not thought, but gratitude. Trust. The crew slept in shifts, exhaustion painted on every face. Meals were rushed, hands blistered from tools, wetsuits perpetually damp. Yet no one wavered. Word of the rescue had spread. Research vessels, environmentalists, even governments sent messages of support. The world was watching. But for Mira, it was personal. Each barnacle she cut loose felt like peeling away a layer of suffering. By the sixth day, progress was visible. Large patches of the whale's skin gleamed smooth, iridescent under the floodlights. Its movements grew stronger, breaths deeper. Once, it even breached, rising out of the sea in a thunderous arc that showered the crew in mist. They cheered like children, their fatigue forgotten for a moment. But the final challenge remained. The barnacles near the whale's throat grooves and blowhole. These were the most entrenched, packed tight where skin folded with each breath. Attempting removal here risked suffocation. Mira volunteered for the dive. "It has to be steady hands," she said. "I'll take point." No one argued. They knew her resolve. Descending once more, she approached the whale's massive head. The blowhole opened and closed like a breathing canyon. Barnacles clung stubbornly around it, jagged and sharp. Mira's heart pounded. One wrong move, and seawater could flood in. She steadied herself, laying a hand gently on the whale's skin. "Stay with me," she whispered. She worked slowly, easing the cutter along the edges, prying clusters loose. Each removal was delicate, terrifying. The whale rumbled beneath her touch, but did not move away. Hours passed in tense silence, until at last, the final barnacle broke free. The whale exhaled a powerful spout, clear and strong, misting Mira and sending her tumbling backward in the current. She laughed into her mask, tears mixing with seawater. When she surfaced, the crew was shouting, waving their arms. The whale rose behind her, breaching fully into the sky, its white body shining under the moonlight. Barnacle-free, it looked otherworldly, a leviathan reborn. The sound of its body crashing back into the sea echoed like thunder, drenching them all. For a moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. Then the whale lingered, circling the solstice. Slowly, gracefully, it swam closer, until its eye once again broke the surface. Mira met its gaze, standing on the railing with her hair plastered to her face. No words could pass between them, but the moment was thick with something greater than language. A thank you. A goodbye. A reminder that the ocean's heart still beat. With a final, deep exhale, the white whale turned and slipped beneath the waves. The water closed over it, leaving only ripples that shimmered under the stars. The crew watched in silence, each person marked by what they had witnessed. Mira stayed at the railing long after the others retreated. She thought about the scars they had uncovered beneath the barnacles, the evidence of ship strikes, entanglements, wounds that told a story of survival against endless human-made threats. This whale, mythic and rare, was also a mirror. A mirror of resilience, of fragility, of the urgent need for humans to change. In her chest, she carried the weight of that gaze. She knew she would never see the white whale again. But perhaps that was the point. Some beings belong to the deep, to legend, to the parts of the world humans could not own. All she could do was honor the encounter by fighting harder, for cleaner oceans, safer waters, a future where creatures like this could exist without choking beneath parasites of humanity's making. When dawn broke, the solstice turned homeward. The crew was silent, not from fatigue this time, but from reverence. Behind them, the horizon shimmered, endless and unbroken. Somewhere beyond it, a whale swam free. And though Mira could not hear it, she liked to imagine that the ocean carried a song that day, a song of release, of survival, of an ancient giant reborn.